G'day folks, welcome back to Life of Us, and in today's segment we are doing another custom character build for the Dungeons and Dragons board gaming series. This time I'd like to introduce you to a Halfling Mesmerist. Thought I'd do a character that was a little bit crazy, a little bit zany, a little bit different from the usual spell. Like the previous one that I did, which was the Human Vigilante, this one is our Mesmerist class. Very psychic type build, lots of psychic wizard mesmerizing powers where you can control monsters. And without further ado, let's step right in and have a look at how he spins. Malakazam, our halfling mesmerist. His flavor text reads, Many the eyes has I confound, tiptoe quietly and make not sound. Bright red gems for you to stay, probe your mind, delight and scare. Tools they are that cause for surprise. Malakazam is I, the mesmerize. Bit of flavor text and also gives you a little insight into how he speaks, as well as if you want to go the RPG route and start role playing this character. Think of a cross between Halfling Golem maybe, with a little bit of Jar Jar Binks thrown in with the way he speaks in riddles. Very fun, quirky character if you want to call it that. In terms of stats, he's not really great. He's got an AC of 14, HP of 6, and a speed of 5. So not the best of stats, surge value of 3, but lots of powers and cards that help him along his journey to becoming the greatest mesmerist of all in the whole realm. Okay, his base talent is called Mesmerized. So you start the adventure with 7 Mesmer tokens, which we'll talk about in a second. And once per turn, you may choose to forfeit your attack and place a Mesmer token on an already mesmerized monster. So if you have any monsters under your control, you can keep them even longer under your control by forfeiting your attack and mesmerizing them a little bit longer. In terms of his powers, he's got a few power cards that he uses. The base power card is called Sim Salabim, and then a standard set of powers. Choose one at will, one daily, and 2 utility power cards. And we'll have a look at that in a minute. For the character build itself, I used the Halfling uh, Mesmerist figurine from the Pathfinder Iconic Battles. Um, if you can't find that, I suppose any halfling character that looks like he's a wizard and can do a bit of mesmerizing would do. This I did by along with the Human Vigilante. It's all part of the same set, so it's a Pathfinder Iconic Battles. I'll put a link into my blog at the bottom. You can have a look at it in case you actually plan on getting it. It's a bit rare to come by these days, but you should still be able to find it on Amazon and maybe eBay. Right, let's have a look at his power cards. Oh, before we get to the power cards, character cards obviously leveling up to levels 3 and 4 as per the Dungeon of the Mad Mage, where we saw that most of the character cards in there actually can level up to level 3 and level 4. At those levels you start unlocking things like expert powers as well as gaining new utilities and dailies. There's obviously a cost involved in leveling up, or an XP, either XP or monetary cost. As you see also that his HP and his AC does increase as you progress to different levels. Right, let's look at his power cards then. At wills, we've got this base at will which is called Sim Salabim. And the flavor text reads, Malakazam, Malakazam, I is very quick, under me spell you are, magically trick. He's got a very unique and rather crazy way of talking, but that's how I built him and that's how I like him. And if you don't like that, then I don't know, use your own flavor text, I suppose. Attack one adjacent monster, then move your hero 1 tile in any direction. It's a +7, doesn't do any damage, but it does mesmerize the monster if you hit him. And we'll get to what mesmerize means in a minute, but let's just step through all of his at-wills. We've got the next one is called Smellbite. Ah, Gusha, these stink so bad, even monster friends run off. Use only if there are 2 or more monsters on your tile. Choose a monster on your tile to target. On a hit, move all other monsters 1 tile in any direction. So again, it's a +8. Doesn't do any damage to the monster that you hit except dazes him because of the enormous stink bomb that you're hitting him with. And all the other monsters, they run off in 1 tile in any direction because they can't take the smell. So you skunk alert. Then we've got Dizzy Whack. Take that, whack, whack, whack. So this one does actually do damage. It's a +7 to 1. So if you really wanted to use Malakazam as a, I don't know, fighter, or if it would actually deal out damage, then you Probably one Dizzy Whack in your arsenal. Looking at his daily powers, we have Wackadoodle. Heavy Thunk means more brains, and Hollow Thunk means less brains. It also has the Mesmerize keyword. Attack any one adjacent monster. On a hit, you may place another Mesmer token on any monster within one tile. It's a +8 doing 2 damage, not too much on the damage side, but it also has a Mesmerize keyword. So the monster that you're hitting gets mesmerized, and if you hit that monster, you can also mesmerize another monster within one tile. So pretty useful card. Then we've got Kadabra. Attack one adjacent monster, then any mesmerized monsters may also immediately attack. Very useful if you've got monsters under your control, because that gives them the ability to attack as well and gang up on some really horrid villain or monsters that you're trying to get through. Your mesmerized monsters, however, still get their normal attack at the end of the current villain phase. So we've been hearing a lot about this mesmerized base ability for our Halfling Mesemerist. So what is that all about? That's the card over here on the far right. In purple, which says any attack with the Mesmerize keyword has the following effect. Place X up to a max of 3 Mesmer tokens on any monsters when attacking with an ability with the Mesmerized keyword. A mesmerized monster cannot attack any hero and activates at the end of the current villain phase. You may move the mesmerized monster with one tile closer to the nearest monster and attack it with the mesmerized monster's attack. Hit or miss, remove a mesmer token from that monster card after the attack. Mesmerized monsters have -4 AC and count as heroes for the purpose of monster tactics, and villains cannot be mesmerized. Okay, there's a heck of a lot going on this card, but essentially what it says is, for the first part, whenever you attack with an ability that has the mesmerized keyword, you get to place a mesmer token on any monster that you hit. Right? So if you hit a monster with your Simsalabim or your Wackadoodle daily power, that would mesmerize that particular monster if you hit, and when you mesmerize a monster, you put the mesmer token on that monster's card. A mesmerized monster cannot attack any hero and activates at the end of the current villain phase. So it's under your control for that phase. And he activates at the end of the current villain phase after all the other monsters and villains have activated. Then what you do is you move your mesmerized monster one tile closer to the nearest monster and attack it with that monster, mesmerized monster's attack. So essentially that monster is under your control and will then attack other monsters with its attack. Whether it's a ranged or a melee attack, it will go and attack that monster with that attack. Hit or miss, and it doesn't attack any heroes, right? Hit or miss, remove a mesmer token from that monster card after the attack. Okay, so when you choose to attack, and the keyword is you may move the mesmerized monster, so you could choose not to have it attack. You could mesmerize a monster, just let it hang around, keep it under your control for a little bit, make it do a little dance or make it do your laundry. It's up to you entirely. Hit or miss, remove a mesmer token when you do attack from that monster's card after the attack. Right, so mesmerized monsters have -4 AC and they count as heroes for the purpose of monster tactics. That means other monsters will still attack them. And with the -4 AC, not the best thing for other monsters to attack them, but still having that extra monster buff for the mesmerized monster is great. And lastly, villains cannot be mesmerized. So that's the mesmerized tactic for the Halfling Mesemerist. I'm saying mesmer quite a lot, and it's quite a tongue twister, but that's the tactic in a nutshell. So let's step on and have a look at the rest of his daily cards. We've got Kablooey. Making monsters go poof. So much fun. Watch them explode and run, run, run. Used during your hero phase. Destroy a mesmerized monster and deal X damage to any monster on that tile where X equals the number of mesmer tokens on the monster card. So the more mesmerized a monster is, you could deal out more damage by just blowing up that monster and dealing that much damage to other monsters on that tile. Really useful. Next one is called Mr. Sandman, and Mr. Sandman is an ally card that you can bring into play. Take the Mr. Sandman card and add it to your list of power cards as an ally. Place the Mr. Sandman token on any tile up to 2 tiles away. So you need the Mr. Sandman token for that, and if you don't have a Mr. Sandman token, you can probably use a print one up. If you don't want to print one up from my blog down below, you can also use the um, a suitable figurine if you like. If you had a Scarecrow figurine, would work perfectly. And over here we have Mr. Sandman. He's a dream weaver. That's what his class is. He's got an AC of 16 and an HP of 3. So very strong ally, if you want to call it that. He activates burst at the start of the villain phase. And if he's adjacent, if he's within 1 tile to the monster, he moves adjacent to the nearest monster and attacks it with its attack called La La Land. Otherwise, Mr. Sandman moves 1 tile towards Malekazam. Any mesmerized monster on Mr. Sandman's tile gains a +2 to the attack bonus this turn. So not only does he buff up as an ally, but he also buffs up your mesmerized monsters by giving them +2 to all the attacks against other monsters. It's +7 doing 1 damage and day. So Mr. Sandman is a fairly powerful ally that you want to bring out quite early, given that your stats as a character on its own is not that great. It will be useful to have an ally like Mr. Sandman in your bank. Then we've got his utility powers. So his first utility power is called Helpful Halfling. And Helpful Halfling, use whenever a hero on your tile is being attacked. Move the hero 1 tile in any direction and place an illusion token on that hero's square. I'll talk about illusion tokens in a minute. But that kind of just allows you to place the hero 1 tile in direction and place an illusion token on that hero's square to distract the monsters. We've got a Thinky Thinker. Use it anytime that gives you +3 Mesmer tokens. That's useful. Then we've got the Mini Me's. Mini Me's says, now you see me, now you don't. Now you see me, now you do. See me and see me and see me. Which is me can you see? Very confusing, isn't it? Used during your hero phase. Place 5 illusion tokens on Mini Me's. Remove X illusion tokens and place them on any tile up to 1 tile away. An illusion token has 0 AC and 1 HP and always counts as the closest hero when resolving monster tactics. So it's creating an illusion of the Halfling Mesemerist of Malekazam, making it seem like that's him and it's not actually him. And you have 5 of those at your disposal to use at any time, and the monsters will always attack those tokens instead of coming for you. Very useful. Next set of utilities, we've got Brain Foods. Brain Foods says, used during your hero phase, remove all mesmerized tokens from any monsters and regain that much HP. Okay, that's useful. Mind's Eye. Mind's Eye says, used during your hero phase, place 3 Mind's Eye tokens on this card, and instead of moving, you're going to remove a Mind's Eye token and spend your movement points to move a Mind's Eye. Mind's Eyes may be used for exploring new tiles, and remove the Mind's Eye after exploring. We've seen that with the Wizard's Eye, I think in the Wrath of Ashardlin, the wizard character had this ability. Similar, only you can do it up to 3 times with the Mind's Eye token. Last one we've got for the utilities is Spooked. Used during your hero phase, place 3 Spooked tokens on this card. Place a Spooked token on any monster within 1 tile. Spooked monsters have disadvantage on all attacks and cannot target any Halfling heroes until the start of your next villain phase. So it just gives monsters disadvantage and doesn't make you a target for attacks. Those are all of his utilities, and we now move on to his expert powers. First expert power is called Hungry Boyos. Hungry Boyos is basically just ramping up your mesmerized ability, because your mesmerized monsters now deal +1 extra damage when attacking. So you want to try to keep your monsters as mesmerized as you can and not have them just die at the end of a villain phase. We've got Thunderwhack. Thunderwhack says attack 1 adjacent monster. On a hit, the monster is dazed. That's a 13-4 and miss 2 damage. Many More Me's. Place 3 additional illusion tokens on Many More Me's. This one now says whenever an illusion token is destroyed, deal 1 damage to all monsters on that tile. That's fairly useful in that if you had this along with your that illusion utility power, you could actually have quite a bit of damage being dealt to monsters each time you played an illusion card. And that just about wraps up the Halfling Mesmerist character for the Dungeons and Dragons board gaming series. The last page you're looking at all the tokens, the other illusion tokens, the Mesmer tokens. There's a token for the Scarecrow ally, or if you have a figurine, you're most welcome to use that. some of the card backs, as well as the top right corner, that's the spooked token over there. And have fun playing with this build. Let me know how he spins and whether it actually works. Sign up in the comments on my blog. As always, chat again. Bye everyone. Thanks for joining.